Namaste. Welcome everybody to the channel Omnipresent. The ruin of the Yadava clan. Yes, Yadava clan. The clan to which Lord Krishna belonged to. There is a saying, even Amrit in excess is poison. Amrit is a drink that gives immortality. So is the case of liquor. Those who drink excessively will be ruined. The society will be ruined. The state will be ruined. Why, even the world will be ruined. It is said in the Mahabhagavata, Kali, the total destroyer, the 10th avatar of Mahavishnu, dwells in gambling dens, then liquor shops and warehouses, the places where prostitution is practiced. These are the favorite haunts of Kali. We know all the Yadavas from Mathura were brought to Dwaraka by Krishna because Jarasandha had invaded Mathura 17 times, but the young boy, a 16-year-old cowherd, Krishna, had driven away the forces 17 times, but he knew that there would be a terrible war soon. The king of Magadha, Jarasandha, was preparing for the total destruction, the demolition of Mathura. So he wanted to avoid bloodshed. So he had taken away all the Yadavas of Mathura to Dwaraka without the knowledge of Jarasandha. Krishna just went in search of a suitable haven for the Yadavas and found it on the westernmost point of Bharat, that is the present-day Kathiawar, the abode of the Asiatic lands. There on the seashore, he reclaimed an island with the help of Varun. Varun is the sea god. The Greeks call it Poseidon. There he got a large, beautiful city or a citadel, fortified walls with 7 layers of fortified walls. And it was named Dwaraka. Dwaram means hole. The hole through which the deity, your favorite god, is seen is called Dwaraka. All the Yadavas had taken away all their belongings when they set out from Mathura. Apart from that, Krishna had provided them beautiful houses, all well furnished, well ventilated houses, and palatial palaces, and gardens and parks everywhere, recreation places everywhere. So it was almost an Indrapuri because it was built by the architect of heaven, Vishwakarma. But you know, when prosperity comes all of a sudden, people become very proud. When pride is accompanied by its twin brother, arrogance, that brings a catastrophe. The same happened. because the Yadavas started taking to drinks, and they had become very much arrogant, especially the youth. One day, a group of youth was standing. At that time, some saffron-clad munis were passing by. Seeing those saffron-clad rishis with their long beard and all, these boys wanted to make fun of them. When they saw these munis, they were Kanva, Kashyap, Vasishta, Vishwamitra, and so on. They decided to make fun of them. So, Samba, the son of Krishna, was made like a pregnant woman, dressed like a pregnant woman. When the munis reached near the boys, one of them said to them, "O Rishis, you are Trigarajnanis. Could you please tell us what child this woman would give birth to?" The munis frowned because they knew in their inward eye that they were being ridiculed by this youth. One of them became very angry and said loudly, He shall give birth to an iron pestle, an iron rod, which would they destroy the Yadava clan." The boys burst out in laughter, ridiculing the rishis. They didn't take care of it, and they went on their mission of seeing Sri Krishna. They had come from different places, but they met at the same place because their destination was Dwaraka and meeting Krishna there. They were all greeted and made to sit there. And during the talk, the Muni said, "We are very sorry, O Sayan, O Bhagavan, because we cursed the youth who tried to ridicule us." Krishna smiled and said, "You are right. You have not done anything wrong." And they had become so arrogant that it would invite their destruction. So anyhow, he wanted to just, save his people from a catastrophe. So he called all the elders and just told them the impending calamity, about the impending calamity. Meanwhile, the boy who had acted like the pregnant woman got some stomach pain. It was so terrific that his head was reeling and he was screaming. And to their horror, he gave birth to an iron pestle or an iron rod. And they were worried. They were in horror. They went to Krishna and said, Krishna smiled and said, "You invented all these things, but I am helpless. You go to Ugrasena, our king, and he will find a solution." He immediately called a meeting, and all the elders decided that the iron pestle would be filed and all the dust would be thrown into the sea. But there was a last piece which couldn't be filed at all. So that was also thrown into the sea. As that glistening piece was sinking, it was seen by a fish and it swallowed it. A fisherman caught the fish and he was going to sell it at that time. It was seen by a hunter because he loved fish very much. So he took it home and just cut it. He became very happy because he could just find a very sharp pointed iron, steel thing, very glistening, and he knew that it would fit his arrowhead. So he did. So according to the advice of Krishna, Balarama just convinced all the people, all the males of Dwaraka, to go on a pilgrimage to Prabhasa Tirtha in order to minimize the intensity of the curse of the munis. So they all set out. But As was their wont, just they couldn't just remain without drinks, so they carried cans and cans of liquor. It was not a pilgrimage trip, it was a pleasure trip. And they started drinking. By the time they reached Prabhasatirtha, they were all drunk. And they could find a sort of just a sharp pointed grass there, very sharp. And those grass had sprouted there as the waves of the sea just churned and brought all the iron dust which had been thrown by the Yadavas into the sea, which came ashore and sprouted like this sharp pointed grass. So there they started drinking again, and in intoxication they started some argument. The arguments just rose to such a level that they forgot about themselves and they started drawing their swords from the scabbards and started fighting. And the heads rolled there, blood flowed there. Even elderly people were not free from that terrific act. They went on fighting, and thousands of headless bodies lay there, and streams of blood flowed there. When Balram just saw all these things, he became very furious, and he took his weapon, the plough, and killed all the remaining Yadavas there. He was in deep sorrow, in deep remorse, and he decided to quit this world, and he drowned himself in the sea. Krishna was sitting somewhere at a place called Balka. There is a temple now which is called Balka Mandir. I have visited that. It is somewhere near Yadava, a serene place. He was sitting under a peepal tree with his one leg over the knee of the other and relaxing. At that time, a hunter called Jara, who had just bought that fish and got that steel thing, with his new arrow, he was just searching for a prey, and he mistook Krishna's figure to a Nilgai. Nilgai means it is a blue cow. They are in abundance in Saurashtra even these days. So he pointed and they aimed at Krishna and sent, but he didn't know that it was Krishna. He thought that it was Nilgai. And the arrow sped and hit the foot of Krishna. When he did that, then only he realized that he had hit the wrong, his arrow had hit the wrong target. Immediately he rushed and just fell at the feet of Krishna and begged for forgiveness. Krishna smiled and said, "My time has come. You have become a cause. That's all." He blessed him. Then he asked Uddhava, his friend, to bring Arjuna to Dwaraka. And he was asked to go away from there, and his end was very near, Krishna knew. So Krishna sat in yogic nidra and gave his body there. It was burned to ashes. Then he had informed Uddhava to take away all the women folk and the children from Dwaraka as soon as possible, because on the 7th day after my departure from this world, there will be a terrible tsunami which would drown the whole of Dwaraka. The same happens, and Krishna is not there, and all the women folk and children were at the care of Partha. Parthan means Vijay. Vijay means Arjun. So that's the ruin of the Yadava clan. Remember, pride goes before a fall. So if you like this, just press the like button and subscribe it. and share it with your friends. That's all. Thank you. Bye.